Hello everyone, I'm Nobuki Takamen. I'm a jazz guitarist from New York City. Today, I would like to show you 4 essential chords that every guitarist should learn when you start playing jazz. When you learn a jazz standard, there are a lot of chords that have like 7th and 9th and 11th and 13th, but I'll show you 4 essential chords that you need to know in order to play most of jazz standards. The first one is major 7 chord, dominant 7 chord, minor 7 chord, minor 7 flat 5 chords. Let's take the major scale as an example, C major scale to be exact. So here are the notes in C major scale: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then when you label all the notes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 8 or 1, and you pick the 1, which is also known as root, and then 3rd, 5th, and 7th, 1, 3, 5, 7. You make a major 7 chord. All the intervals except 5th are major intervals, meaning C, which is the root, to the 3rd, major 3rd, and then root to the 7th note, that is the major 7th. Now, and I have the 5th, so root to the 5th. This is actually the perfect interval, perfect 5th. So 1, 3, 5, 7. These notes make major 7 chord, and this is actually a C major 7 chord. And then when you put this in order, like C, E, G, B, this is the sound of C major 7 chord. Now when you have root, 3rd, 5th, 7th, this is actually not a C major scale, but I added flat on B so that I have B flat. Now let me just play these notes. So that this is the sound of C dominant 7 chord. Now let's take a look at the minor 7 chord. Minor 7 chord has root, flat 3, 5th, and flat 7th. Again, this is not C major scale anymore because I added flat on E and B flat. Okay, now maybe I can try playing these notes. C, maybe I play C on the 6th string, and then E flat, G, B flat. This is the sound of C minor 7 chord. Okay, one last chord. We have C, E flat, which is the flat 3, and what if you flat the 5th as well? Now you get root, flat 3, flat 5, and flat 7th. And then this is actually C minor 7 flat 5 because you flat the 5th of C minor 7 chord. And then this is how it sounds like. That's how you construct each chord: C major 7, C dominant 7, C minor 7, C minor 7 flat 5. As you saw me actually doing my, using my right hand, some of the, voicing that I played were really difficult to play, and those voicings are called close voicing. Close voicing is something like root, 3rd, 5th, 7th. There is no actually skipping note or like, octave displacement. So when you have close voicings, it's usually difficult to play on the guitar. So you can rearrange the notes from the chord so that you can play on the guitar. And I'll show you 2 sets of voicings that you can play easily on the guitar, and those are the ones that you need to know to get started playing jazz standards. Okay? First, I'll show you something called drop 3 voicings. This is the voicing for C major 7 that you really should know. Sounds really nice, right? It's got root, 7th, 3rd, and 5th from actually the bottom string. So I'm having the C on the 8th fret at the 6th string, B on the 9th fret on the 4th string, E on the 9th fret on the 3rd string, and G is on the 8th fret on the 2nd string. It is going to be very, very important to know all the chord degrees, like root, 3rd, 5th, 7th. So, please memorize that as you actually, learn this voicing, okay? Again, root, 7th, 3rd, 5th. Good. Okay, so this is C major, 7 voicings that you can play anytime. So, sounds good. If you want to play B major 7 chord, you just move this whole shape half step down so that you have B as the root, okay? And then if you want to play B flat, you can do that. If you want to play G, it's from the 3rd fret, and then if you want to play F major 7, from the 1st fret, and so on and so on. Good. Now, I can show you how to convert this C major 7 chord into C dominant 7 chord. C dominant 7 chord has 1, 3, 5, flat 7. So, I know that this note on the 4th string is major 7. So now, I'm going to flat this B down to B flat. And then you get this sound. Sometimes, most of the time, guitar players rely too much on the shapes. So maybe you can do something like this. Just play one, like an individual note so that you'll be aware of like each note and the chord degrees. And then you just flat this note, so like that. And this exercise comes in really handy because as you improvise, you'll never know like which finger you use for the top note. You may use something like this, you may use something like this, you may use something like this. Depending on what you do before and after. But anyway, let's keep going, okay? Next, we want to play C minor 7 chord. C minor 7 chord has root, flat 3, 5, and flat 7. So now, this is my dominant 7 chord, which has already B flat in it. So all I have to do now is to flat the 3rd, which is the E on the 3rd string. So now I'm going to flat this note, and then I get this. Again, this sounds nice too, and then you can do the same thing as I did for C major 7 chord. Just you change the root and then move the shape, and then you get different chords. And of course, you can do this for dominant 7 chord, which I didn't do, but you can do that. Okay, last, we have minor 7th flat 5, C minor 7 flat 5, right? So we have root, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7. So basically, we flat all the notes except the root. So if you want to go from major 7 chord, I have the root on the 6th string, so I move the shape down and then play like this: C, B flat, E flat, G flat. Okay, and this is kind of a little tricky to remember, but if you kind of relate this chord to open A minor chord, and then have the 2nd fret on the 6th string as the root. This is the shape, and you move it up to 8th fret, and this is C minor 7 flat 5. And again, you can move the shape and then get different chords like this. Okay, that was drop 3 voicings, and then now I would like to show you something called drop 2 voicing. As you saw, drop 3 voicings that I showed you had all the root on the 6th string. Depending on where you are on the fingerboard as you play a song, you may want to actually have the root on the 5th string so that you have like multiple choices. So now drop 2 voicing has the root on the 5th string. Okay, and shape is like this. This is C major 7 drop 2 voicing. Root is on the 3rd fret at the 5th string. 5th note is on the 5th fret at the 4th string. 7th note is at the 4th fret at the 3rd string. And 3rd note is on the 5th fret at the 2nd string. Okay, so this voicing has root, 5th, 7th, 3rd. And when we did actually drop 3 voicings, we had root, 7th, 3rd, 5th. So the order of the notes are different. But you can remember this voicing as 1, 5, 7, 3 voicing. Okay, and again, it's so important to know the numbers because that's how you can convert one chord into like a different chords. Okay, so this is C major 7 chord, and now we have F major 7 chord, E major 7 chord, E flat major 7 chord, and so on and so on. Okay. Next, we can play C dominant 7 chord with drop 2 voicing and root on the 5th string. All you have to do is just flat the 7th. So find the 7th note, which is on the 3rd string. So you flat the 7th like this to have B flat. Now you have Sounds nice. And this is a really common chord when you play, blues, but sometimes you may actually double the notes like this. Have the top note, or like sometimes you add the bottom note. But when you study chords, voicings like this, it's nice to stick with the 4-note voicings to kind of know all the notes and what are the notes inside the chord. Okay, so this is C 7th. Now C minor 7 has 1 flat 3, 5 flat 7. So I flat the 3rd on the 2nd string, E to E flat. And the last, we play C minor 7 flat 5. You find the 5th, and then 1 flat 3 flat 5 flat 7. So you flat the 5th. You can do this to get the C minor 7 flat 5, or C major 7, and just like I said, you lower all the other notes except the root. So this is C minor 7 flat 5. Last but not least, I would like to show you how to practice and apply these chords into playing a song like Autumn Leaves. So I'll take the first 8 measures of this song so that I can show you how to work on applying those chords and play the song with chords. Here's the changes for the first 8 measures of Autumn Leaves. C minor 7, F7, B flat major 7, E flat major 7, A minor 7 flat 5, D7, and G minor 7 chord. Okay, this is very pretty much really standard chord progressions. There are a little different variations, but let's stick with this this chord progressions. Okay, so I know that the first chord is C minor 7 chord. So I have my C major 7 memorized. So just did like a chord transformation, and this is my C minor 7 chord, and I can do this with the root on the 5th string if I want. I mean, you should, eventually, but this is my C minor 7 chord. Okay, and I have my F7 chord, which is here, down here, and this is my F7 chord. And it's always nice to have, the other option, that is actually the root on the 5th string. B flat major 7, we learned C major 7, so flat B, C major 7, move the C major 7 chord, 2 frets down. Okay, and the B flat major 7 chord can be played down here. B flat on the root on the 1st fret at the 5th string. Okay, and E flat major 7 here. E flat on the 6th string, which is on the 11th fret at the 6th string. And I have my E flat on the 5th string at the 6th fret, so I can do this too. Now A minor 7 flat 5. I know this is my C minor 7 flat 5, so move it like 3 frets down. A minor 7 flat 5. Okay, and I have open A as the root, so I can do this. It's a little bit tricky to play because you have some open strings, so what I would like you to do to get used to it is just kind of pretend that you're playing like this. You put all the fingers like that, and then get the other notes that you need to play. Okay, here's actually a little technique that you can use. Since we don't want to play open 1st string, I'm actually touching the open 1st string with my ring finger, so that I don't get the sound from the 1st string. Okay, and this one can be played up here too. Anyway, the next chord is D7, which is at the 10th fret at the 6th string, and then this is the shape, and this is the other drop 2 voicing D minor 7, my bad, D7 chord. And lastly, we have G minor 7 chord here, and G minor 7 chord here. And once you get used to playing all the chords, now you can kind of connect all the chords, and you can just jump around, but you'll actually notice some of the voicings got really like say C minor 7 chord here, instead of going down to F major F7 down here, you can actually play F7 chord up on the 5th string, because these are so close. So now you can do something like this. If you want, you can change the positions, like instead of actually starting from here, maybe you can do da 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 da. See? There might be some chords that you don't recognize, such as like diminished 7 chord or like minor major 7. And if you want to learn more about the chords, please check my website, and there is a PDF file called Chord Constructions where you can see a lot of different combinations for different chords. For today's lesson, we learned how to play chords from the jazz standards using the 4 essential chords. But one of the most important things when you start playing jazz is to learn the melody of the songs. So when you practice playing chords, maybe you can just hum the melody or like to sing the melody. You don't have to be like a professional singer. So just try to sing like, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da, da 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 da. Because this would be a nice, nice way to practice, and you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone by, doing this. If you're a guitar player who has already played the guitar for like, number of years, and if you want to start playing jazz, you'll actually always come across the question. So please feel free to leave me a comment, below, or you can always email me from my website, www.nobukitakamen.com. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.